Why spend more money than you have? Many feel that shopping can help process unresolved issues. But there are real reasons why we sometimes want to spend more money than we have. We use money to buy goods. However, many emotions can also arise thanks to this. Many want to spend more money. In fact, many people's main goal in life is to have a lot of money and be able to spend it whenever they want. Although it may seem sad to admit, buying helps some people cover up or compensate for other things they lack, such as love. However, it can cause people to fall into the trap of spending more money than they have. The current economy wants us to be in debt. The economy encourages us to spend more money than we earn by facilitating our purchases as much as possible. They make us spend money because they know that everyone has some kind of baggage. Advertising and marketing do whatever they can to make us believe that shopping can solve our problems. While they may not do so directly, they certainly drop hints and suggestions. Spending more money to cover what you lack. People who tend to spend a lot of money usually lack stimuli or encouragement in their lives. They decide to go shopping to feel better. This is because shopping feeds an unconscious sense of power and control. There are shops at your feet and you decide what to buy and what not to buy. The customer is always right and is always treated appropriately. Being in debt can also be a mechanism for processing discomfort in life. It is possible that owing money and falling into the credit trap also helps cover unresolved grief or severe anguish. People don't buy goods and services. They buy relationships, stories and magic. Seth Godin. It's easier for us to think that we can't sleep at night because we owe money, rather than what we actually feel. It is also easier to pay attention to our bank account and to get everything fixed at the bank than to accept and deal with our dissatisfaction. Manipulation makes people spend money. There are two psychological realities that make consumers easy to manipulate: fear and guilt. The persuasive mechanism that advertising almost always uses plays on these emotions. They are sending you an indirect message. In an advertisement, it is common to show a daily situation where comfort and tranquility are directly related to buying a product. Of course, it's up to the people watching to interpret what happens if you don't buy it. There are other ways to manipulate. Cornell University did an experiment in the year 1977. The researchers gave a fake test to a group of people. One of the participants, who was an infiltrated researcher, left the room and returned with free sodas for some of them. At the end of the test, the infiltrated researcher asked them to buy tickets for a lottery. The people who had had a soft drink bought twice as many tickets. Follow-up experiment. They repeated the experiment one more time, without the free soda. This time, there was only a small number of participants who bought lottery tickets. They concluded that gifts encourage people to buy and spend money. This is why some brands offer tastings in the supermarket. You can also see it in other stores where they give you free gifts with your purchase. They know that, by doing this, they will make you want to spend more money on their products. There are many examples of this. In fact, certain areas of study specialize in consumer behavior. The system, especially the financial one, needs us to be eager to buy, regardless of being in debt. They sell us a fantasy of false control and satisfaction, which is the first thing we buy. That's what it's all about. Creative without strategy is called art. Creative with strategy is called advertising. Jeff I. Richards. Money and happiness don't always go hand in hand. It's easier to see the idea that fame and money bring happiness as a dubious project when we look at how many celebrities have experienced depression or other lows. Emopoig knows all about the fact that money and happiness don't always go hand in hand. She has a degree in clinical psychology and is a lecturer in the HR department at IESE Business School. But her way to fame is that she has managed the egos of FC Barcelona's footballers for the past 15 years. She has something pretty interesting to say about it. Despite their handsome monthly salary, they go through the same ups and downs as the rest of US, she says. Money and happiness don't always go hand in hand. In her daily work with players like Iniesta, Messi and Suarez, she has been surrounded by people who earn in a year what the rest of us could earn in a lifetime. She has discovered that our bank account does not help us when we have to manage our emotional life. In order to see how much is going on for people in their relationships, you have to know them. That work can be like climbing a mountain. There are two paths, a long easy one, and a shorter but more difficult path. Jealousy, envy, anger and sadness affect both the rich and the poor. We need to understand personal relationships, emotional control and progress if we want to be able to figure this out. I wish everyone could be rich and famous and have everything they dream of, only to find that it can't give them the answer. Jim Carrey. Money and happiness don't always go hand in hand. We live in a society where there may be too many people who always make it awesome. We love to project an artificial image of ourselves that defies all emotional logic. It is virtually impossible for us to be amazingly successful in money, health, beauty and love at the same time. Fake happiness is the saddest thing there is. The link between money and happiness is often a myth. Many people go to therapy because they still feel sad even when everything is going well for them. They feel an emptiness in their life, and they don't know why, what it stems from. Many of these people do not even realize that sadness is a part of our lives. It has survived evolution for centuries because it has an important job. On the other hand, there are people who do not have a perfect life by other people's standards. They also do not have as thick a bank book as others, but they don't feel the emptiness that others talk about. There is no one on earth, no matter how much money they have, who can be happy all the time and completely free of problems. Often it is quite the opposite. The more money you have, the more problems you have. From this mindset, real success is when you achieve what you really want, while happiness consists of wanting what we want to achieve. Again, the link between money and happiness is a truly tenuous one. Happiness is found somewhere between having too little and having too much, sometimes between scarcity and abundance. Emotions cannot understand numbers in an account. Emotions are not linked together with our bank account. Now don't think that having a bit of money in the bank can't help. But the truth is that most people would choose love over money at any time as long as our basic needs are met, money and happiness. Mostly it is about money or happiness in most cases. There are people who always seem to live on the crest of the wave. We admire these successful people. But they go through the same difficulties as the rest of us without the same success in life. They also experience losing people they care about and the like. Successful people can also be sad, lonely, discouraged or depressed. We cannot link our emotions to our bank account. Just as we also cannot link money and happiness together. You only have to look at people who have made great fortunes to see that money does not protect anyone from psychological or friendship problems. In fact, the number of celebrities who have major problems is very high. It's easier to see the idea that fame and money bring happiness as a dubious project when we look at how many celebrities have experienced depression or other lows. From that perspective, a bank account the rest of us can only dream of doesn't mean they have balance in their emotions. In many cases it is quite the opposite, total emotional instability. As we can clearly see, our emotions are not linked to our bank accounts. The idea that money, fame and power make us happy is very far from reality.